Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of Nighttime. My name is Camden Mowery, and when we come back from the intro, we're going to be talking about UCF basketball and why they're struggling. Should Johnny Dawkins be on the hot seat right now? We're also going to be talking about what's going on in the college basketball world. We're going to be giving our contenders, our cuties, our dark horses, all that stuff. And we're also going to be talking about what's going on with UCF football. Stay tuned because Nighttime starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nighttime. Who is ready to talk about some college basketball? We are talking UCF men's basketball today. We are joined by Doug and Ryan. I cannot wait to talk about men's basketball with you guys. Let's get started. How are you boys feeling about the team this year?
I'm doing pretty. Oh, about the team? Ooh. Right now we're struggling right now. I'm not too happy with them.
I mean, we had a pretty bad bad stretch recently, but I think we would pick it up. We played decent last night, despite the loss, but I don't think it was too bad.
Doug, let me ask you, your voice sounds like it's a little bit shot. Were you screaming last night? I mean, what was going on with you?
Yeah, I was really trying to be that difference maker in the crowd and get us to storm the court, but we ended up losing, and I lost my voice, so that was like 2 L's in one night. So we're pushing through right here.
It happens.
Right.
It happens.
So let's go ahead and start with this, right? We had a game last night against Houston, which we thought would be game of the year, as I titled it in the doc. It was not game of the year, as we saw. First half was okay, only down by 4, and then ended up blowing it a little bit, losing by 11. So we're not going to focus on that game. We're going to talk about the coach, Johnny Dawkins. I'll start with you boys over there on the green screen. Do you believe Johnny Dawkins should be on the hot seat? He's lost 3 straight games, and there's a stigma going around that he cannot win road games. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. He's definitely on the hot seat. Where we just lost 3 straight conference games. 2 on the road, now 1 at home. Yeah, 1 was against Houston. It's going to be probably a loss either way, but he definitely should be on the hot seat. We have some talent on this team, and it's just inconsistencies, and that's coming from his coaching.
So, Doug, your voice sounds a little bit scratchy, so we're going to give you a little bit of a break. Ryan, I mean, you cannot lose to South Florida, granted on the road, and it's always tough to play on the road, but you can't lose to your interstate rivals who are not supposed to be anywhere as good as you in basketball. So what's going on with this team? Do we need a coaching change? Is it just the injuries? What's going on?
I mean, I definitely think it's a conversation that could be had, because I guess you could always look at the coaching staff for losses like this. I mean, we're 4-4 in the conference, and 3 out of those 4 conference losses came on the road. So it's definitely an issue that is there, but I think we should just wait it out before addressing anything with the coaching staff. I know our next game against Temple, it's at home, but Temple is 7-2 and they're second in the conference, so I think we should see how we respond to that game first.
Yeah, to be pointed out, Temple did just beat Houston on the road in Houston's territory to drop him from the number 1 seed to the number 3 seed. So, Emily, do you think there needs to be a conversation on coaching change right now?
Yes, there does. We are losing games that should be winnable. We're losing games left and right. We are in a losing streak of 3 games. Like, this is, I mean, I don't really know what to say because it's kind of embarrassing a little bit. I feel like we should have a better team. We should have a better stamina. We have some of the players that will carry this team. We have Taylor Hendricks, who always does a phenomenal job. He is a potential first-round NBA pick. So we are seeing players like that, and they're not being used to their full potential. It's sad, and I wish that we had more resources to help them out.
Now, before we get into Taylor Hendricks specifically, I'll give my opinion because I didn't really voice it. I'm sick of watching this team lose games that they shouldn't lose. The Houston one's fine, all right? The Tulane one, everyone has a bad game, so I'll give him that one. Yes, they're injured. Michael Durr's in a cast. C.J. Walker's injured, okay? So I get it. Darius Johnson's been a little bit banged up this year. But the South Florida loss is the one that irks me because you think if you're a good basketball team, you're going to bounce back, whether or not it's on the road or at home. you're going to be able to bounce back against teams that you should be beating. All right? We thought at the beginning of the year, no expectations, okay? And now we're coming into this. I don't know. Felt like after we started out hot, almost beat Miami at home, that this team might be something a little bit special, but obviously not. Now, let's go to Taylor Hendricks, who has obviously been a bright spot in this team. Emily, I know you were talking about him. He's projected to go 23rd in the draft or something like that. So if he does go to the draft, do you think he's going to be able to go in that first-round spot?
100%. 100%. He just reached over 1,000 career points this last game. He plays phenomenal. He is a phenomenal player every single time we see him on the court. Yes, he may have some mess ups here and there, but for the most part, he is one of our strongest players on the team. And people are noticing it because, look, he's going to be a first-round pick. Like, people are noticing his potential in the NBA, and they are seeing how good of a player he is. Doug and Ryan, what do you think about that?
I love Hendricks. I'm a big Hendricks stan. I love him. Definitely our best player. He's averaging like 14, 15 points a game, 7 rebounds. And it seems like every game he has this kind of game-changing block. He doesn't look like a freshman at all. He looks like a veteran in this college basketball, and he's just showing out.
Exactly.
Now, Ryan, I'm going to ask you this because there's been a little bit of a, I don't even know what the word is to describe it, but Taylor Hendricks had some pretty good games to start out the year, but recently he's been a little bit more neutralized. I mean, it looks like teams are starting to figure him out a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I definitely think he has a little rough patch of recently, but he's still putting up pretty good numbers. And I think he just needs to steady the course. This is where NBA teams and scouts will really judge him based on how he handles this type of pressure. And I mean, I definitely think that going to the NBA is a huge option for him. He gives me a lot of vibes of Jaren Jackson Jr., where he's a big man who could play the multiple positions. He could also guard 1 through 5. And I think almost any NBA team could find him extremely valuable to them.
No, I agree. He's a little bit raw right now. Doug, I know you wanted to talk about CJ Kelly, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Take it away.
I believe it was, USF. He was like the only one that really looked like he wanted to be there, wanted to play, and wanted to win. He led the team, I believe it was 18 points. He had like 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He was the only consistent player that entire game, and he shouldn't be. We have Taylor Hendricks, we have Ithiel Horton. He's probably like maybe our 3rd, 4th best player, but at least he stepped up and showed what he can do. The rest of the team was just a letdown.
Yeah, so totally agree with that, Emily. Let's go ahead and talk about the women's basketball team now that we're moving on that. I think we started out a little bit strong, 6-0 in that team, and then had a couple tough games against Auburn and some other teams. But now it seems like the brakes are falling off a little bit, and the team's starting to go on a little bit of a losing streak, losing 5 of 6 games. Do you think we set the expectations a little bit too high?
Unfortunately, we most definitely did. We're not doing as good as we thought, which is really unfortunate because I had a lot of faith in the girls' team because we know the men's basketball team isn't the strongest of the two, but that's why we had so much faith in our women's team, and they're kind of going on the same track as the men's, and it's really breaking my heart over here. We started off so strong, and now I just feel like we're just playing this game of trying to keep up with what we were started with. And, I mean, we have a losing streak of 2. It's just like the boys' team. We have both teams have a losing streak. Like, that's not that great. And we're 1-5 in our conference. So we're not seeing good numbers. We're not seeing high stats. I just wish we were seeing a little more from our women's team.
Now, I think that that's fair that they're not putting out enough numbers. But to be fair, they did lose their coach, and like half the players did leave to Georgia to go follow the coach that pretty much built up this program at UCF. And so it's going to take a couple years. We said this at the beginning of the year. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
We are rebuilding right now, and I just wish we had maybe a little more support, because during a rebuilding process, all you need is support, because you want to try, especially if you're trying to match a team that was doing a good job last year, you want to try to keep that stamina up, and I just feel like we haven't. So I hope to see a little more support as the season goes on.
All right, I'll go ahead and take us into the commercial break here. My nightlight of the week is going to be a player off of the women's tennis team who absolutely showed out, winning her both doubles match and her singles match, and I'll tell you who it is when we come back from commercial break.
Welcome to HCF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, wait a second.
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
That went so long.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
All right, welcome back to segment 2 of Nighttime. I can't believe we're already flying through this season. It's episode 3, and before you know it, it's going to be the end of it. So let's go ahead and make these a good couple episodes before we got to get out of here. So my nightlight of the week is from the women's tennis team, as I said, and it is Marie Mattel. Now, Kirsten was one that talked about her last week on the show, and she is absolutely a stud on this team. Girl from France, fantastic at tennis, and I'm telling you, she's fun to watch. I don't think she'll ever lose this year. Now, let's go on over to the boys at the green screen. We got Noah Kemper, and Handra Montana on the show. Andrew, you have to sing everything you say now. How are you doing?
I don't want to be here anymore. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, we had this whole discussion about my name, like what's going on here, but I'm, I guess, happy to be here. I don't know how much Kim's gonna pay me for it, but we'll see.
$0. Noah, how are you doing today?
It is great to be back, making my debut on this season of Nighttime.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic to have you to talk about college basketball because obviously the team you like is pretty much a blue blood, and they're kind of struggling a little bit, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a little bit. But before we get into that, we're going to be doing a thing here where we're all going to be giving our contenders, our cuties, and our dark horses to go into the Final Four. We're right past the halfway point of college basketball pretty much, and my team is going to be the Kentucky Wildcats, all right? Rawr, Kentucky Wildcats, blue blood school. I mean, if you've watched college basketball, you know Kentucky's pretty good. Right now, they're having a little bit of a downward spiral. They were hurt. Severe Wheeler was out. But Oscar Tshiebwe might be player of the year, has some contention. I mean, Zach Edey, which I know you'll talk about later, is pretty good. But Oscar Tshiebwe is averaging 16 points, 13 rebounds right now, which is NBA numbers. He's basically Domantas Sabonis, but on Kentucky. So I'm going with the Kentucky Wildcats. They're outside of the top 25 right now. Emily, that's my dark horse. Who is your contender?
My contender, I have to give it to Purdue. Now, they are the #1 seed right now, but in past years, they don't keep that #1 seed, which is unfortunate, but I really think they have it this year. Purdue is a guaranteed top 4 finalist. They have a good defense and a good offense. Zach Edey is my pick for player of the year. He is averaging 21.5 points per game and 13.2 rebounds, and he's just unstoppable. They have a young team with a ton of room to grow. We see great passes from 2 to 15, my player of the year, and we see more shot creation from #2 as well. And if you keep looking here, we see all of Zach Edey's skills displayed as he makes the amazing pass. Purdue can do it on both sides. We are seeing this chase down block on our highlight right here, and Purdue will always be unstoppable, and we are seeing that in the highlight on showing on the screen right now. We're seeing that they can play both sides. They have a good defense and a good offense. They can block these points and they can make these points. They are unstoppable, and I really think that they will hold at least in the top 4 the entire season.
Now, that's a bold prediction right there because Purdue is commonly known to not be able to make it to the Final Four.
Right, I did say that.
Right. So for you to say that they're a lock to go there, I mean, hey, I'm not going to disagree with you because I like Purdue. I'm a Big Ten basketball fan.
Thank you.
Zach Edey's fantastic. But Andrew, let's go ahead and give me your cutie. I cannot wait to hear this part.
Yeah, so first off, anytime you say Purdue, I just think of chicken. I just want to get that out there. But my cutie for this season is going to have to be the Kansas Jayhawks. I'm really sorry. You guys had a great run last season, but unfortunately, you guys are currently on a 3-game losing streak, 3-4 against ranked teams. And not only that, you're going to be facing, in the next 4 games, you're going to be facing 3 more ranked teams. And the unranked team that you're facing is Kentucky, which you should never count out. Moving on, 6th in the conference in points per game. The conference is very small. It only consists of 10. It only consists of 10 teams. Big 12. I mean, I don't know. I'm not very sold on Kansas this year. Same thing. They have the 6th best record percentage in the Big 12, despite being 9th overall. So it's kind of like, I don't know about all that. Not only that, but they've only won 5 out of their 8 conference opponents this season. It's not looking too great for Kansas. They're led by J-Dub, Jalen Wilson. He's having a great season himself, but as for the rest of the team, some inconsistencies throughout.
Hey, him and Grady Dick are going to the NBA. Jalen Wilson and him. Noah, I don't know about you, but that sounded like straight facts. I mean, you got any rebuttal to that? Because you're a Kansas fan.
Straight up hurt my soul. Like, this is a team that honestly can win now. Grady Dick, Jalen Wilson, both going to the NBA. Honestly, they could both go in the first round. Yes, they've struggled, lost 3 in a row. This is the Big 12. That's going to happen. But this team is going back to. I saw on the spreadsheet that they might not make the Sweet 16. I think that is one of the worst takes I've ever seen.
I'm not saying they're not going to make it. I'm just saying that they're, out of the top 10, probably the worst, if not top 3 worst.
Correct.
They're a Final Four team.
Good take.
Good take.
Not as good as Purdue Chicken.
So true. So Noah, I gave you the task of going with the team outside of the Power 5 that you thought was going to make the most noise, and I thought you were going to be, conservative, Houston, or even UConn, who you mentioned was struggling. But I saw the team that you were talking about did beat UConn last night or 2 nights ago. Go ahead and talk about them because you sold me on them. Go ahead.
They did absolutely indeed. Before, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Charleston, won 20 in a row, absolutely crazy. But the Xavier Musketeers are rolling in the Big East, first in the Big East. This is honestly one of the scariest offensive teams in college basketball right now. Led by we've seen Kobe Jones, who's been absolutely clutch lately. Zach Fremantle, who, by the way, absolutely dismantled Georgetown's defense, dropping a 30-point double-double the other night. That is absolutely insane. This team has, I believe, 4 to 5 players who are averaging over 10 points a game. So in any given night, one of these players can just, take over if someone's struggling. And I think that's a huge problem in the Big East. And not to mention, they're 8th in assists this year, first in assists this year, 8th in points per game, and 6th in field goal percentage. And as a team, they're shooting over 50% from the field. That is honestly astonishing.
Noah, that was fantastic right there. I got to let you know, everything you just said there, I'm sold on Xavier, all right? You don't have to do any more convincing. Do you smell that, Emily? It smells like victory because we got to move on over to primetime picks, where I am 2-0 against you. I mean, what's going on? What's going on in primetime picks right now?
We can actually move on to the next one. So our next primetime pick, I'm just kidding. I'm a little embarrassed because I like to think that I do really well, but somehow I end up losing every primetime pick. I lost for football, and the college basketball isn't looking too hot. Hey. So let's get into it, Camden. Just go ahead and talk about it.
You got a chance to come back here because I'm taking the team that has like a 20% chance to win, which is going to be Texas. I'm going Hook 'em Horns on the road against the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee, I'm not buying into them, honestly. I think they're a cutie along with Kansas, and I know Andrew's on my team going with Texas, but you are going with Tennessee, aren't you?
I'm sorry. Respectfully, are you dumb?
I don't know, am I? Tell me why.
Okay, honestly, I feel like I have no room to talk because I lost the last 2. But I'm definitely taking Tennessee. They're ranked number 4. They have a good defense. They have the players. They're a stacked team, and they have the stamina. They have a very, very, very good winning rate. And I'm sorry, but I have to give it to Tennessee. And now, if you win this primetime pick, Camden, I'll give you whatever you want. I'll give you whatever, any amount of money. I don't care.
Money?
Because this is going to be shocking.
I am broke, so that'd be kind of nice. But
might take that
here's
back,
the only thing with Tennessee, right? They scored like 130th best in points, which is not good. They do not score the ball as much as they should. But Noah, you're also going with Tennessee, aren't you?
I mean, I would like to congratulate Emily on getting her first primetime win because Tennessee's winning.
The game hasn't happened yet.
No, I can guarantee a win. The fact that
you're the only person clapping, Emily.
The fact that
all right, I gotta hype myself up. Thank you.
Kind of absurd. the Tennessee is a Final Four bound team, and Texas, that should have been your flawed team, honestly. Because I see this being a 15-point game, honestly.
At the time, they weren't top 10, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Can I ask you this, Noah? Didn't you also see your Kansas Jayhawks beating teams by 15 and it doesn't happen?
I'm so sorry, Camden, that not every team can be in the Big Ten and be ranked 12th like your Ohio State Buckeyes.
Let's go. Not even ranked right now. Yeah, their basketball team's not good, but that's not what we're talking about. Andrew, you're going with Texas. Can you tell me why?
Yes, I'm going with Texas. One, because Camden's going with Texas, and I trust him. But
That's
also,
so ridiculous.
I just see a better overall offensive scheme with Texas. Like outside of they do have trouble with turnovers, but I think like just to keep it short and sweet, I do think I do think Texas just has a better offense. I think they can outplay Tennessee. We'll see. It's gonna be a good game.
Whatever.
Andrew, I like you. You lied. All right, go ahead, Emily.
You're just trying to find anything. But we're going to go into my nightlight. She does play on her women's basketball team, and she is a freshman. Let's see if you can guess who this player is when we get back from this commercial break.
I'm going with Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan, and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh
the
my
NFL is gonna
God.
the NFL is gonna make it happen.
All right, everyone, welcome back, and let's talk about my nightlight player. If you haven't guessed her, her name is Brianna Hardy. She is a freshman on our women's basketball team. She is a forward, and last game she scored 7 points, scoring 83 total points this year. Now let's throw it into segment 3. We're still joined by Andrew and Noah. Let's talk about Justin Hodges. What do we have to say about him, guys? Let's just get right into it.
Well, this is honestly a complete shock. I don't know if anyone saw this coming, but yeah, he was arrested from home invasion and he had an armed firearm on him and a mask, and that's, I mean, honestly, I believe UCF released him from the program, which, I mean, why wouldn't they? That's no shock at all. But this situation overall is a complete shock. And I mean, with players, transferring out, this would have been his time to, step up into a starting role. So he really blew his opportunity. And this is just, it's just sad, honestly.
Yeah, and not only that, like he's representing his school, the football program or sports program. And if you were to read the report, I read the one by Nathaniel Moreira, our very own, but he got all worked up over clothes. He was literally wearing our logo on his back. Like, there's no real reason to do what he did, and I feel really sorry for the victim especially. Like, there's no excuse for what Justin did.
Right. This is a tough situation to go about because we're not really supposed to look at the football aspect of this because it's obviously a lot more, like, serious than that on what the guy did. So let's just go ahead and talk about that because I was with I don't want to flex it, but I was with the SID of football. Maddie, I know you're listening. You know who it is. And the common thought between us was, how can a person just do that? Like, the situation just seems so silly that you can be a collegiate athlete for any school, not just one that's a Power 5 program, but any school, or just any person at all. Like, to just go there and get yourself in trouble when you have a big brand to represent. And it's honestly just not a smart move by the kid to do, right?
Correct.
Justin Hodges, I don't know what we're doing.
What's really unfortunate is, although, yes, he's representing UCF, now when you think of UCF football, you think of this incident. Like, there's not one person that you can talk to and they don't know about this, especially people on campus at UCF. Anybody who knows anybody at UCF, everyone knows this situation. And it's putting a little bit of a damper on our football program, which is not great. I'm glad he was dismissed. We don't need this type of reputation from our team. And I hope that we can recover from this and next season, you know, get the ball rolling, have really great wins, really great games, and hopefully not sweep this under the carpet, but dismiss this from a headliner that everyone's reading.
Right. That is such a good point that you make there, because we shouldn't let that represent who the team is, because there are a lot of great guys on that football team. So, like you said, they do need to get some wins. So let's go and try to transition this into the football aspect. We're moving to the Big 12, everyone. Like, this is happening next semester. We don't know the entire schedule yet. We do know they're playing Kent State, who only lost to Georgia by 17. Trap game, I'm just saying. They also have to play Villanova and Boise State on the road. Those are 2 out of 3 tough games right there. And I know we're a Big 12 school. We're going to look at that like, oh, that's 3 easy wins. But no, it is not, all right? Kent State only lost to Georgia by 17. I mean, that's a big deal, isn't it, Noah?
I mean, yeah, I guess it is. Boise State will also be a great game. I played on the blue field.
Right.
Ooh, looking forward to that one for sure.
Right.
It'll be interesting. You know, the Big 12 is obviously a stronger conference than the AAC. We have players that have, you know, like I said again, transferred out of here, including our star receiver, sadly.
Yeah, goodbye, Ryan.
So it will be an upfield battle for sure.
Now, Andrew, I'm going to go and ask you this, all right? We know some of the opponents. We don't know the Big 12 opponents. We have the 7th best recruiting class in the Big 12. I don't remember which one of you guys from HTF told me that, but thank you for that stat last week. I mean, that's not a good start to be in the Big 12 and not have a top at least 4 or 5 recruiting class. How do you think we're going to match up in this new Big 12 next year?
I mean, honestly, if you're to here's what I take. If you take our record from last season and just throw us into the Big 12's records of last season, we're 3rd, which isn't terrible. But at the same time, like Noah said, we lost Ryan O'Keefe, but at least, you know, we didn't lose like Devontae Brown or Jean Baptiste. You know, that would have been tough. Right. But I think going forward, if we don't have as strong of a recruiting process, especially in this new conference, it's going to take a while for us to get back on our feet.
Andrew, was that a joke? Both those guys also transferred.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Okay, I was
hoping you would pick up on the sarcasm.
I was like, wait, what? Because both
of
those guys are gone. Now, Emily, yes. We have to go play against tough teams like TCU, Iowa State, West Virginia, and even Oklahoma and Texas this year. I mean, do you see us beating these teams when we could barely beat USF and could even beat East Carolina?
To put it in really, really nice terms, we are the new kid in school. We are the new...
That is a nice way to put it.
It is.
We are the new kid. And listen, the new kid always starts at the bottom of the totem pole, and you got to work your way up to the top, and I am hoping that we can. I hope we have a bunch of new recruiting players that will just dominate the field this year with, of course, our veteran players. And we're the new kid, so we're the new kid. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to have UCF football slander, because love them. But you know, we're new, and we gotta prove ourselves that we deserve to be in the Big 12.
Emily, such a great point. And now we're going to go and end the show with this. Thank you so much for everyone that has come on the show today. Can't wait to see what UCF football is going to be building. Ryan DeCruz, Doug Smethers, Andrew Montana, Noah Kemper, and, of course, Emily Aaron. Thank you all so much. That was Nighttime Episode 3, and we'll see y'all next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay?